Okay, welcome everybody to today's episode. Um, we are going to have a great time, but that's not the main aim. Having a good time, right? That's not the main aim. The main aim is to raise our awareness and raise our understanding about ourselves, about the world, about the market, right? About everything that we think we know. So it's essentially being better than yesterday. So we are starting today. This morning, I did analysis. So we'll go over this morning's analysis, and then we'll continue um with a plan and everything. I have last month we studied market structure. I was solely focused on market structure. So we studied market structure last month. This month we will continue with supply and demand and order flow. My aim is to finish with supply and demand and order flow this month. Let's see supply and demand and order flow by next 2 weeks. So from this to 15th, right? And then from 15th to 28th will be liquidity entry models. Okay. So I will go over whatever you are seeing here. Right? I will go over this structure and then we will continue with everything. So this is what I am looking for to trade on the 1 minute, on the 5 minutes, on the 15 minutes. Sorry. So this is the setup that I'm looking for to execute on the 15 minutes. But before, let's go back to the higher time frame and let's analyze everything. Okay, so from last, I think around August, from August, we started with the price. We started from around this area. We broke this high. Sorry, it was this high that we broke. So we broke this high and we broke this. And we had this massive pullback, right? And then we started to break above this structure, right? So we changed structure and we continued the move to reach the swing high. So this was the last high that was broken, right? This was the swing structure. So we had our swing structure, we had our swing pullback, and then we have our swing continuation. That was from around August last year. Yeah, this one was around September. So we started around August there, right? So from here, we followed price and we've been following price. So this was the last high from the. Uh, Now I'm analyzing the daily time frame on the 4 hour, right? So from the daily, this is my perspective. It shows me where the 4 hour time frame is likely to turn around, right? The daily shows me where the 4 hour time frame is likely to turn around. So as we had this week of structure here, I was expecting this pullback, right? So the daily structure will tell me that okay, getting closer to these lows, increases the probability of this structure holding. And we have multiple confluences that we use to determine this. If you've gone through market structure lesson, you see what I'm talking about, or you understand what I'm talking about, where we studied the structures, and we studied trend, and we studied three type of structure. We studied the swing structure, the internal, and the fractal. And we continue studying premium and discount pricing, right? So we continue with premium and discount pricing, and we continue with multi-time market structure. So whatever I'm doing right now, I'm combining all of them. This is a combination of market structure just by purely looking at market from the market structure perspective. From the market structure perspective. So we have this daily structure. This is the daily impulsive move, the daily corrective structure. And this is the one big daily impulsive move. But even with this, we had impulse, this correction, and continuation. But this is the continuation of this daily structure. I'm reading the daily on the 4 hour. Remember that. So when we had this break, right, I've already identified that this is the daily low, right? But looking at this structure on the 4 hour, you can see although this pullback is significant, although this pullback is significant, it is more than 100 pips, right? It is not the main pullback because this is the last 4 hour structure. So we had this one to remove this, and you had the impulsive move to the downside, and you continue. But what happened? Price broke this high, right, forming the next high, and we push straight to the downside to break this low. Within this line, within the impulsive move, we had this corrective structure. But these are the 15-minute structure. These are the 15-minute structure. I won't classify this as 4 hour structure. If I'm classifying all of this as one structure, then and all of this as a pullback, then a break of this structure is one push, right? Yes. So from the 4 hour, this was the 4 hour high. So from the 4 hour, this is the 4 hour high, right? So as price even breaking this high, we are looking for this impulsive move to the upside, right? We are looking for that impulsive move to the upside. We broke this impulsive move. What are we looking for again? We are looking for a pullback, right? And then the next impulsive move. A trend in the higher time frame is a run in the lower time frame. We've already discussed this on the multi-time frame market structure model. So here I will be using it. A trend on the higher time frame is a run on the lower time frame. These are the confluences that we use to time where price is likely to turn around from. So we had this impulsive move, right? Breaking this high. If we do this, we will expect this pullback, which is the higher time frame pullback, right? For this higher time frame, possibly. Remember, around the higher time frame is a trend in the lower time frame. This higher time frame pullback that we are expecting will form a bearish trend on the lower time frame. So let's see, this is the 4 hour. This is the daily pullback. But this daily pullback, look at this. It is a series of lows and highs. This daily pullback is a series of lows and highs. meaning this is a trend. If you've already gone through the previous model, you understand this. So a trend is a connection of structures, right? A connection of highs and lows. When we have this high and low, we are having a trend, we are having a structure. When we have this low and high, we are having a structure. When we have this high and low, we are having a structure. From this low and high, a structure. From this high and low, structure. This low to high, a structure. From this high to low, a structure. If you look at this, you can see it is a connection of up and down move. This is called a trend. A trend is a connection or series of structures. Structure is a high and low in the market. Now I'm seeing a run on the higher time frame, it's a trend in the lower time frame. So this very trend that we are seeing, this downtrend that we are seeing, it is what? It is a bully. It is a higher time frame pullback. A run. It is a higher time frame pullback run. This is the higher time frame impulsive run. This is the higher time frame pullback run. So let's look at it on a daily to confirm. Mhm. So looking at it on the daily, this is just one straight push to the outside. We didn't really consider any massive, you know, break of a low. Yeah, we had this low, all of this highs held, you know. We still moved to the upside. We broke this high. It was one impulsive move on a daily. So if you've gotten the impulsive move, you will expect the corrective structure or you will expect the pullback. After a break of structure, we are expecting a pullback. So that pullback is what we call a run, a pullback run, or a counter trend. And we are seeing a run on the higher time frame, it's a trend on the lower time frame. This is the impulsive run. If we are breaking this and we are expecting a pullback from this structure, then this pullback run is going to form a trend. Remember, a run on the higher time frame is a trend in the lower time frame. So this pullback run that we are expecting not to break this strong low will be a trend on the higher time on the lower time frame. So that's what happened. Again, let's continue. From this, when we break this is the last low that caused this move. So this will be our structure from the last low to the high, and we are having a pullback. A run on a higher time frame is a what? It's a trend on a lower time frame. This is the higher time frame run. We are expecting the higher time frame pullback into where? Into EQ. So here's the higher time frame low. We are expecting a price to at least move into where? EQ. Here is EQ. Equilibrium, right? For premium and discount pricing. Here is the low, right? Here, let me put this on. Here is the low. So here is our daily low, right? Here is our daily low. This is our daily low, right? This is the daily high. This is daily strong structure because it led to a daily break of structure, right? We broke this weak structure. It is a weak structure because it didn't lead or it didn't lead to a break. It didn't lead to a break, right? It didn't lead to a break. It just pulled back. It was a pullback. This was the last low that caused this break of this high. So this low was a strong structure. This is a weak structure. We broke this weak structure. We had the pullback, which is the counter trend, which turned or which turned the lower time frame into a bearish trend. And then we created a strong low nearer to this one. And we continue the move to break the weak structure. Now, creating another strong structure. And now we are having a weak structure. if we are having a weak structure, what are we expecting? We are already expecting the pullback, and this pullback is starting into where? Into EQ, at least EQ, right? Cool. That's first expectation. That's our first expectation. We are expecting price to pull back to at least EQ, and we expect trend to shift to do that. At the end of the day, we expect the strong structure to hold, and for the lower high, sorry, for the higher low to form somewhere around here, right? Let's say we are pulling back to form somewhere around here for us to get a break of the weak structure, because now we are having a bullish trend. If you are connecting the highs and lows, you can see this is the high, this is the low, right? This is the high, this is the low, this is the high. So we expect the next low and then the next high, right? So now we are in a daily pullback phase, right? We are in a daily pullback phase, like how this structure was. We are in the daily pullback phase. We can only confirm, we can only confirm that the daily low has um, formed, or we can only confirm that the daily low has formed when we get a break of this high. The reason is when we're getting the pullback, although here's the last low, we had this move to the downside. We failed to break this, right? Price move to the downside, failed to break this, we push to the upside and continue the move. So this is the fractal low, this is the I boss or boss, right? But here's the fractal structure. We had this one straight push to the downside. What happened? We push to the upside and we blew this. Now here's our chop. So when we get this senior character, it is the earliest confirmation. We are again, we also talked about this in the previous video. When we get a change of character, the change of character is the earliest confirmation that this, string structure is about to, the swing pullback that we are seeing is about to end. But but it is not the truest confirmation, right? It is not the truest confirmation. We only, become aware, or we only confirm that we have finished the swing pullback when we get an eyeboss. So from this structure, here is the swing structure for the daily. Here is the daily high, and we had this one, two, and the last move. So here's the last low. So from the daily structure, I can consider here to be the chalk, the change of character. So here is the chalk, right? Here is the swing low, and then this one will be the eyeball internal break of structure. Now, here is another mechanical rule. The internal structure, or mostly sometimes the fractal structure, but mostly the internal structure on the higher time frame, or the internal structure on the daily is a swing structure on the 4 hour. The internal structure on the 4 hour is automatically the swing structure on the 15 minutes. Okay, so here's the eyeballs, here's the chalk. So in this structure, all of the three structures are bullish. The internal structure is bullish, the swing structure is bullish, the fractal structure is bullish. Although price can, you know, sell from here, it is very low because looking at what I've read into, you can see there's a high probability. There's a high probability price will come into this, let's say this structure, and it will continue the move. Or possibly if we liquidate this low, or we can, let's say, come here and we continue the move to break this like I'm projecting, then it means we are going to have a move, a sustain at least 2 or 3 days or at least a week to the downside to come into the fractal low. And if it holds, how would we know? You will know when the structure shifts on a higher time frame, right? And that one will confirm that this zone is holding prior to this. So you have this 1, 2, 3, and then if it holds, right, you go to maybe the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes, and we look for trade, and we target the weak structure. But this is the highest probable one. It doesn't mean that's the only trade, right? The high time frame is bullish. We are expecting a bullish pullback to EQ, which has happened. Because the time I'm driving, you can see price has already moved past EQ. So this can be the low and price can go. So on the daily, this is it. The daily factor is bullish, daily swing is bullish, daily internal is bullish. But within the daily factor, we've gotten an I chop, which has liquidated the structure, and now we've changed character after we mitigated this. You can be having the deeper pullback, but it doesn't have to happen. And I don't have to know what price is going to do next down there to make money. I don't care. Mhm. So let's go to the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you can see we had this one move, this sustained move, we had the pullback. We are having this. Around on the higher time frame is a trend. On the lower time frame, this is something you have to keep it in mind. This is a higher time frame run, which is the 4 hour. We are expecting a pullback, right? This one will shift the lower time frame structures into a bearish structure, right? Into a bearish trend. This is the internal structure. This is the internal structure. Or yes, for the higher time, for the 4 hour swing structure. So I'm classifying this as the 4 hour swing structure because this is a daily internal low. There's no wiggle room. The daily internal structure is a 4 hour swing structure. Simple. So this is the daily internal structure. This means this is the 4 hour swing structure. Where is my fractal structure? On here. You can see the fractal structure. But I will still classify here to be the eyeball because it is quite big. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite big. 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost 2 days or something. So we came straight to the downside. We had this. It failed to break. It means there was a reaction there. So we failed to break. Pulled back to the upside. Excuse me for a minute. And we continued the move, which broke this. So from the beginning of the reaction to the end of the reaction, again we have multiple flips. So here's the main structure that flipped the whole demand. This is the structure. This is the first reaction for this ring. So this is a field reaction. This is what we call field reaction. You will get much into supply and demand, I think, later. But this like consider this as a trailer. Right? Consider it as a trailer. This is the field reaction. So you flip this one. Price continued, and you do this, confirming that you are starting the pullback. Confirming that what you are starting the pullback. Because yes, hey, right now. Eh, and the area one. Afternoon. Eh. Ah, this is the thing. I mean the thing happen finish.